Hello everybody. I come to you today irritated, annoyed, angry, and also disappointed. I'm not exaggerating. I believe I have found possibly the worst piece of motoring journalism ever committed to a page in the history of mankind. This is a review for the Subaru Impreza Cosworth STI CS400 from 2010. Personally, this is a dream car of mine. And this car has been given the at-a-glance rating. In terms of stars, it's been given a handling rating of 4 out of 5 stars, a usability rating of 4 out of 5 stars, a feel-good factor of 3 out of 5 stars, a performance factor of 3 out of 5 stars, and the overall rating 3 out of 5 stars. This review from carmagazine.co.uk has given a Cosworth-built Subaru Impreza with 400 horsepower a performance review of 3 out of 5 stars. What else are you reviewing that can be better than that, really? 400 horsepower from a four-wheel drive hatchback like this. That's mad money. That's like a Focus RS, Golf Rs. These are dream cars to the majority of a car community. And they've given it 3 out of 5. I want to go and see what actually gets 5 out of 5 on performance if a 400 horsepower Impreza doesn't. What I've done is I've gone and put to the best of my ability, I've gone and actually made a CS400 Cosworth in Forza Horizon. Obviously, the actual car itself isn't available. But I've gone out, I've got the new gearbox ratio specs, I've got the performance and the weight. The weight is actually technically a little bit off. This is actually slightly heavier. The actual weight of the CS400 Cosworth is 3317. So this is heavier than the CS400. But the power matches 395 brake horsepower and the torque's pretty close. It's not perfect. I've also lowered the suspension as Cosworth did. They dropped it by 15 centimeters. I've dropped it by roughly between 5 and 10, just giving it the standard lowering springs. Do you know what I haven't done? I haven't upgraded the brakes, because the brake kit that's actually on the CS400 Cosworth is AP Racing calipers. Now that's, if you don't know, they're about a £3,000 set of discs and calipers, and they are track ready. So I think it's fair enough that we're putting race brakes on it, considering AP Racing are a very reputable racing brand. What else have I done? I've chucked some wheels on it just because I don't actually know what the set of wheels are on the CS400 Cosworth, but they're very similar. They're like that classic rally look of the Team Dynamics, like the ones I've got on, or the I think they're Oz Super Turismos. They're called. They're fucking gorgeous. Anyway, it's a similar style to that, and it's knocked a bit of weight off anyway. So, yeah, like I said, I've gone through, I've equipped a race gearbox, but only so that I can customise the ratios to give it the exact same gear ratios that the real car has. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out this review, and then I'm going to conduct my own road test. So, at a glance, the car's been given a review of 3 stars out of 5, which I think is pretty dismal. That's 3 out of 5, it's like slightly above average, That's like 60% on a test. That's like you're just passing. Right, so 2 famous names in motoring meet to create this car, Subaru Impreza and Cosworth. It should be a match made in heaven, but we're going to give the game away early. It's not. We declined early drives in the Subaru Impreza Cosworth STI CS400 as they were pre-production prototypes and the first reviews were lukewarm, or maybe that should be scorching hot, the test cars overheated. But the car they delivered to our Performance Car of the Year 2010 challenge was a fully fettled, ready-to-go customer spec car. It sounds like already that you've got a bad taste in your mouth about the car before you're reviewing it. Okay. What makes the Subaru Impreza Cosworth? Take one regular Scooby. Mix in the STI spec and take it to the fabled tuner's Cosworth. The result is a 395 brake horsepower super hatch that looks tempting on paper, as well as the badge gives away 400 PS and you get 400 pound-feet of torque. and a tweaked up chassis. Just 75 Scooby Cosworths will be built for the UK market. The 2.5 litre Boxer 4 engine has been tuned to produce 33% more power. It's been given forged conrods, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's the upgrades, brakes and wheels. Subaru says the regular 6-speed manual has carbon synchromesh applied to the top 3 ratios to handle the extra thrust. And an upgraded single-plate clutch has also been fitted to. Suspension is upgraded, and that's where it mentions it's been lowered by 15mm. Cosworth commissioned AP racing brakes have been fitted, and all the ABS and stuff carries over and stuff, yep. Road test review bit. This is where it gets really funny. We expect great things from the Impreza. Subaru quotes 0 to 60 time in a faintly ridiculous 3.7 seconds. And truth is, it doesn't feel anywhere near as fast. We didn't time it, but we would put the acceleration at nearer 5 point something. Right. You have a 400 brake horsepower, 4-wheel drive car, and you cannot achieve 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds. You have just proven to me that you are not a good driver. 5 point something 0 to 60. I think the standard STI with 300 brake horsepower does it in 5.7. So you've been given an extra 100 horsepower, beefed up suspension, a stiffer chassis, you still can't beat it. So that's the first thing I'm going to do here. Right, I'm going to go and find a straight bit of road, and I'm going to fucking prove this wrong. And you'll be like, oh, this is a video game, this is a video game. It's like, it's a fairly decent simulation, and I've got an accurate power, I've got an accurate weight figure, and I've got the true gear ratios from the Subaru website themselves. So this should be as accurate as video games come, really, shouldn't it? Right, I'm just going to dump it from 5,000 revs. There, that's 60 immediately. It's like, that wasn't 5 seconds. Right, I tell you what, there is a 0 to 60 simulation in this. I don't know how accurate it is. 0 to 60 speed, 4.2. There. So yeah, okay, maybe it's not 3.7. Maybe, you know, you put some semi-slicks on it, you put some decent tyres. This is still on the stock tyres, mind you. Put some decent tyres on it, yeah, maybe it would run a 3.7 pretty competently. You know, I've just done it in 4 seconds, probably. So, that's fact number 1 out of the way. 5 point something. It's like, for fuck's sake, you even admit you didn't time it. So what's the point of saying it? Right, another one. Part of the problem is the mother of all turbo lag. Pin the throttle, and unless the engine's spinning at around 3,500 RPM, nothing happens. There's a slow build-up, and then suddenly, your ears are full of whistles, whooshes, and the Cosy leaps forward like a scolded pet. The quad exhausts belching smoke. It's all very 1980s. Yeah, okay, people do criticise, especially the UK spec Subarus, because they have a single scroll turbo compared to the Japanese spec, which has a twin scroll. And, right, I understand that criticism, but also, if you're doing it, let's say you're doing spirited driving and whatnot, right, I don't know about anyone else, but if I'm driving through town, I'm not really going to be driving higher than 2,500 revs, so the turbo is not going to be kicking in. We're just going to be driving around, nice and peaceful, nice and relaxed, whatever, just chill. If I'm going pinning it through back roads, I'm doing 3,500 revs at a minimum. I'm on boost when I am driving around. If I'm trying to do a pull from 2,000 revs, that's lugging the engine. You're not supposed to do that in turbocharged cars. That's, in fact, a carnal sin of driving a turbocharged car, is that you don't lug it. From 3,000 there. You can see the turbo definitely kick in. Yeah, you can feel it, you can see it, like, watch the revs. So if I do a pull from 2,000, where's the lag that he's talking about? It's like, oh, you can see it a little bit. You can definitely see where the turbo properly kicks in. But it's not really like it's a dramatic difference. Everyone who complains about turbo lag, especially in this generation of Imprezas, because I can remember when Jeremy Clarkson did it as well. You're just fucking liars. Like, it's like, you're either doing pulls from 800 RPM in like, look, try and take off in 3rd gear, like, there, this is what you must, that is what you're doing when you're trying to describe the turbo lag on an Impreza. It's complete and utter horseshit. Right, we'll go on to the next part of the review now, because that's, it all feels very 1980s, blah blah blah. Well, it's weird because Subaru didn't really leap into their own until 1989 with the Legacy RS in terms of the rallying, but okay. And also he says it leaps forward like a scolded pet. I hope you don't go around scolding your pets for fun. Like, I really, really hope you don't. What the fuck kind of a description is that? You say a stabbed rat, don't you, if you want something to go quickly? A scolded pet? Are you is it a sadist or a masochist? Which one? One of them likes having stuff done to them, one of them likes doing the stuff. You're the one who likes doing the stuff from the sound of it. You're Buffalo fucking Bill. The drivetrain feels agricultural as well. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, we're coming back. Yeah, all Subaru Imprezas, they run like tractors. They've got injector tick, they've got all sorts, yeah, blah, blah, blah. There's a degree of shunt at low speeds, and it is difficult to feather the clutch to drive smoothly around town. The gearshift feels built to work on a combine harvester. It's heavy and reluctant with an unsatisfying action. The brakes aren't much better, with poor feel, and after a week in France, they are juddering. Right. It's like, fuck, of course the clutch is going to be heavy when you're driving around town. It's got 400 fucking horsepower. Are you stupid? This is a 400 horsepower car built by Cosworth, and you're complaining that it's hard to drive around town in. It's a fucking Cosworth! You're supposed to be going around tracks in it! You're supposed to be doing what he was doing, blitzing through trees and blowing shit to bits! Fucking drive around town? It's not supposed to be fun to drive around town. If it was supposed to be fun to drive around town, it'd be a Mini or a VW Lupo 1.1 or something. Fuck's sake. What was the other point? I'm using my phone while driving, so forgive me. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, the gear shift feels bad, blah, blah, blah. It's had an uprated clutch to handle that power. It's had carbon synchro meshes on the gearbox to handle the power that it is transmitting down, and you're saying the gearbox feels heavy. Yes, because it's halfway to a fucking race car, that's why! Back to the fucking awful review that annoyed the fuck out of me. At least the Subaru Impreza Cosworth STI CS400... Yeah, it's a mouthful. At least the Subaru Impreza Cosworth STI CS400 rides well. There's a pillowy absorption to the way it handles bumps and lumps, and in fact it made a good auto-route companion. Therein lies the irony. The Scooby should shine on the twisty mountain roads, but it doesn't. It's more at home on an M-way cruise, where the monumental lag and stiff gear changes are less of a hindrance. Fucking idiot. Idiot, 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 fucking idiot. You are a fool. It has Bilstein fucking suspension on it. Do you know why Bilstein are better than Japanese coilovers, especially in the UK? Because we have shit roads. We have terrible fucking roads in this country. Japan spends so much money on road maintenance over there, so that's why their coilovers and suspension is seen as so stiff, and that's why their luxury cars aren't seen as comfortable as German. And so you're saying that it's pillowy? It's like, it's not pillowy, it's fucking German. It's the same suspension that you can buy on Porsches, on BMWs, on M cars. They all have Bilstein dampers too. And yet you won't complain about, you won't call it pillowy on a fucking M4, will you? Right, we're on to the next point as well, which is another funny. It's thirsty too. We averaged 17 miles to the gallon during our week-long trip with the car. Okay. So we all know, well, hopefully you don't, but Boxers are thirsty. If you think about them, they're the same as V-engines. They've got two sets of valve trains at the top, you know, they've got twice as many moving parts, they are very thirsty. Not to mention, this has also got a honking great big turbo, and it runs 400 horsepower. 17 miles to the gallon, I can believe that. I can believe that, and that isn't good. But also, you know, this isn't a Golf diesel. People who buy a 400 horsepower Cosworth Subaru Impreza are not looking at fuel economy. You aren't. It just doesn't come into the equation at all. Nobody gives half a flying fuck about fuel economy in a Cosworth built car. I wonder if people, you know, when the Escort RS Cosworth came back out in the mid-90s, or the RS 500 Ford Sierra Cosworth came out, were people bitching about fuel economy then? Like, you know, get a fucking bus pass if you're worried about petrol prices, for fuck's sake. Oh, God, I'm getting really angry again. Right. What's inside the Subaru Cosworth? The interior is disappointingly boggo, which means a plasticky but no-nonsense cabin with the tiniest tinniest sounding doors this side of a Matchbox model. On the other hand, I approve of Subaru's unpretentious dashboards. So you can't win there. They're easy to use and feel built to last. Right, so the doors are tinny, it's bog standard, it's plasticky, but you like how it's no nonsense and unpretentious. So how are you supposed to win there? Oh, fuck's sake. But it says, when you spend £50,000, I expect more. It's like, you've got more. You've got 400 fucking horsepower under the bonnet. You've got Bilstein suspension. You've got a stiffened chassis. You've got what you paid for in the car, for fuck's sake. Right. The seats are too flat and left us lurching around as the Cosy was flung around the mountainous roads around Provence? I don't know. In terms of the driver's seats and everything, this car got uprated seats. If you don't know what the interior to this car looks like, I can't drop a picture like on stream at the minute because I'm just on my Xbox, but you should look up the interior to this CS400 Cosworth and see if it's as disgusting and dismal as this guy's making it sound. Because to be honest, I think it's one of the nicest Subaru interiors ever made in the CS400 Cosworth. Those bucket seats that they put into that with the aggressive bolstering, they're amazing. I wish they made the seats. I would buy a set. If they made the seats, I would buy a set instantly. I'll buy them tomorrow. They look immensely comfortable. Right, another one. One example of the patchy quality evident with the Impreza Cosworth is the alarm. Why Subaru UK persists with the shabbiest sort of aftermarket alarm system we used to see in the 1980s is anyone's guess. It doesn't work. We must have woken dozens of Paysons in our French PCOTY adventure, whatever the fuck that means. They've been to the French countryside, okay, whatever. The alarm going off nearly every time we unlocked the car, and yes, we did follow the correct procedure. There's no one-off. Just watch other Subaru drivers unlock their cars at the petrol station. You're a fucking idiot! I have owned 3 Subarus. In fairness, there was one where the battery in the remote lock on the key fob died, and I had a bit of trouble. But other than that, no, you do not set the alarm off every 5 minutes. You are a moron. You're an idiot. What are you? You're a car reviewer. You drive cars for a living, and you can't get in and out of them effectively. You can't drive them effectively. You've already proven that with your 5.5 seconds. But fucking hell, you can't get in and out of a car properly, and you're blaming the car. For fuck's sake. Okay, we're over. We're at the verdict. We're at the verdict. We are nearly done. Just breathe in and out and just get through it. The Subaru Impreza Cosworth STI CS400 disappointed us. We took it along to wherever as a wildcard entry based purely on its latent potential. It competed in esteemed company. It competed in esteemed company, and perhaps that coloured our view of it. But far from lurking in the shadows of the Ferrari 458 Italia and the Lambo Exotica, the humble 24k Renault Sport Megane Cup showed us everything the Cosy wasn't. It was a wholesome reminder that you can get twice as much fun from a hatchback for half the price. Sadly, the promise of the Scooby Cosy is miles from reality. Okay, you've compared this to a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. Bit of a red flag, number one. Renault Sport Megane Cup. Fair enough, to be honest. They're pretty amazing cars. So, he's compared this, which is a £40,000 upgraded Subaru Impreza, to a Ferrari 458 Italia and a Lamborghini Exotica. So you want to talk about bang for buck, and you've compared a 150, 200 grand supercar. Why didn't you complain about the fuel economy in the 458 Italia? I bet the V8 in that Ferrari's a bit thirsty. Or the V10 in the Lamborghini, I bet they're thirsty. How much boot space is there in that? How easy are they to drive around town? Dual clutch gearboxes, they're terrible round town, aren't they? But I bet you didn't complain about those. Anyway, he has in fairness got a decent point where he says that a humble 24 grand Renault Sport Megane Cup is an excellent car. You are right. It's like, I understand where he's coming from, but it is different in terms of going from a 230 hot hatch to a 400 horsepower modified Impreza. You throw those two round a track and you know which one's having the faster lap time. you don't need to do it, really. It's like... And that ultimately is what it comes down to for the Cosworth. It was built for performance. Not really a proper comparison, really. Let's go to the Ferrari 458 Italia, actually. I want to see what he's given that review. Ah! He's given the... He's given the fucking Ferrari 458 5 stars on everything. 5-star handling, 5-star performance, 5-star usability, 5-star feel-good factor. You on? I want to hear his practicality talk about it. There's a naturally aspirated 4.5 litre dry-sumped V8 that revs to a stratospheric 9,000 RPM and delivers 562 brake horsepower. That's only 106. That's only a Volkswagen Golf 2 litre TDI quicker than the Subaru Impreza. That's not much, but anyway. No, he hasn't mentioned the fuel economy. He hasn't mentioned the fuel economy in the 458. He hasn't mentioned the practicality in the boot space either. I feel like he just wanted to drive a Ferrari, to be honest, and then he got stuck, quote-unquote, driving a Cosworth fucking super build. Would you believe the 0 to 60 time in the Ferrari 458 is 3.4 seconds, and it feels every bit as rapid, and he believes it, whereas the 3.7 in the Cosworth, he wouldn't believe, and said it was more like 5.5. So yes, we're going to look at Car Magazine UK, and we're going to take their reviews with a pinch of salt, considering that they can't drive cars, they like their supercars a bit too much, and yeah, to be honest, that's about it. Okay, I'll end it there. Cheers all. Bye bye.